Sean, I see that you joined the call. Do you want to do a sound check, please?
Good morning, everybody.
Was that Sean?
Good morning, everyone.
Okay, we're having a hard time hearing you, but want to check your microphone, please. Catherine Hanauer, have you been able to join?
Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me? This is Sean.
Hi, Sean, that's much better. Thank you.
Thank you.
Catherine, filling in for Olga, have you been able to join yet? We're gonna go ahead and get started.
All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you all for joining us this morning. This is the PSC meeting for the month of May. And I would like to call this meeting to order. So if we can confirm we have quorum. So as we get started, it's a reminder that members of the public have an opportunity to speak on any item not on the agenda. Public comments are limited to no more than 3 minutes per speaker, except that a speaker is using a translator shall be allowed up to 6 minutes. Note that the public may also speak on any item on the agenda by waiting until that item is read, then requesting recognition from the chair to speak. At this moment, are there any speakers for non-agenda items? Seeing none and hearing none. we'll go ahead.
There is some speakers. I think they're just trying to unmute.
Oh, I'm sorry.
They said in the chat, Anna Guzman.
Yes, good morning, everyone. My name is Ana Guzman with Catholic Charities Stockton. Our agency assists clients with application and retention services for CalFresh. Monthly, we serve an average of 40 households for new applications and 20 families to submit a SAR 7 or for redetermination. Based on our tracking, about 25% of households will require further assistance to re-upload their documents despite having uploaded them with the initial application and having received a confirmation number. This also occurs when clients report changes in their households, such as changes in income, housing expenses, and household size. This is often requested during the interview or by a notice of actions, and clients will call us to help them resend their verifications. Eligibility workers are saying that they can't locate the paperwork. Whatever is happening in the CalSAL system with documents is creating confusion for workers too. This has resulted in several clients losing their benefits during the initial application process after submitting a SAR 7 or during a redetermination. Our clients not wanting to move forward with an application due to the overwhelming process. Our agency has had to file appeals for cases that were erroneously denied. Clients are often hesitant, and this process creates fear in many as soon as they hear the words like judge or court. As of January 2025, 6 appeals have been submitted because of document submissions now being found by workers. The Benefits Cal system has been designed with numerous features that, when utilized correctly, will help create a smoother process for clients as they access benefits and more efficient process for the eligibility workers to process comprehensive paperwork. We urge this group to prioritize efforts to identify why eligibility workers are unable to locate uploaded documents despite having a confirmation number, to improve efficiencies and support access to benefits and services. We also encourage counties to help to develop partnerships with community-based organizations as part of the benefits ecosystem so that we can work collaboratively to support the customers and identify opportunities to improve technology and business processes. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public for non-agenda items?
Yes, hi, I have one. Gabby Davidson, policy advocate with the California Association of Food Banks. So we're contracted by CDSS as one of the CalFresh Outreach prime contractors. And each quarter we collect feedback from assisters around the state about their and their customers' experiences applying for and managing benefits. And in the most recent report, there were numerous comments about the barriers that workers are facing in finding uploaded documents. So I'll share a few comments that represent the feedback we received from over a dozen organizations. Applicants were told to call back to notify their worker that their documents have been uploaded so that the worker can locate them immediately. And this process can contribute to clogged phone lines. And when documents go missing, clients are forced to make additional calls to the county, resulting in longer wait times for everyone. In one case, it took nearly 2 hours just to ensure that a worker found an income verification that had already been submitted a second time through Benefits Cal. And this was, just to prevent a client from losing their benefits. CalFresh outreach teams have observed an increased rate of wrongful terminations of CalFresh, with the majority of cases terminated due to non-completion of the recertification form, even though they had submitted the form online through Benefits Cal. And CBOs continue to report wrongful denials because county workers are unable to locate uploaded documents. Even when clients have confirmation that their documents were submitted, CBOs are often receiving follow-up calls from the same clients saying that they were denied benefits for failing to provide those required verifications. We know that the verification process is one of the most fundamental aspects of the eligibility process. So we're requesting that county leadership and the CalSAWS team work together with their vendors to understand what is creating barriers for workers who are continuously struggling to find the uploaded documents, and implement solutions so that customers and workers can have a streamlined process that supports eligible people to access services without undue burden. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other speakers for our non-agenda item?
Yeah, this is Jennifer from the CalSAWS Advocates Group, and I wanted to lift up 2 issues. First, thanks to Anna and Gabby for raising the concerns about how often customers are being asked to re-upload their documents. As co-leads for the Advocates Group, we frequently hear from assisters that their customers are being asked to resubmit documents, and we also hear that workers themselves are struggling to find documents. It's not clear why these barriers continue to exist, even 4 years after Benefits Cal and the imaging system have been launched. Customers are missing benefits, workers are having to spend time doing rework, and the entire process is getting bogged down when people have to resubmit documents they've already sent. So we're urging this group to figure out how to resolve these barriers so that access for eligible people is protected and workers can do their job with greater ease. Second, since Benefits Cal was launched, we've been told that counties are responsible for providing tech support to the public for Benefits Cal. Initially, eligibility workers were tasked with being the tech support for customers, but it soon became clear that this was an extremely ineffective expectation. And eventually CalSAWS developed a tech support desk so that customers can get help from someone when they need it. Today, counties are still being asked to be the tech support for community-based organizations. Whenever a CBO needs to set up an account or is locked out of their account or experience any other tech issue, they're told to contact their county. Some counties have provided a point of contact for this, but many have not, and CBOs are sent in circles trying to get support so they can serve their communities. One of our partners has been trying to get their CBO account set up since before last November. Their experience has dragged out because the people they try to reach do not respond, do not know what to do, or the number they're told to call doesn't actually connect them to anyone. It does not seem like the tech support is the proper role for county staff. A second CBO has been trying to get their manager account set up since last quarter. And since they can't create accounts for customers directly, they're not allowed to do that. and can't use the CBO account, they can't save applications that are in process. So they have to do a lot of workarounds to support their customers. A third CBO shared, this is just one of a number of comments, a prolonged delay in accessing their CBO Benefits Cal account. The technical issues persisted for months, limiting their ability to provide the comprehensive support typically offered during the CalFresh application process. CBOs are an integral part of the benefits ecosystem. They are your partners in supporting low-income people to access life-saving services. The current system of asking county staff to be the tech support for CBOs is not working. We are requesting a real solution to ensure that there is consistent and responsive access to tech support for the community-based organizations serving your shared customers. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other? Seeing none, my apologies. I skipped over the agenda review. So
Yes, okay.
I just wanted to get it
Just
going.
eager, yeah, it's
Yes, so
okay.
I do apologize. So if, Julia, you can please assist us with the agenda review for this meeting. Thank you.
Yeah, sure, no problem. After public comment, we're going to be approving the minutes from the last PSC meeting. We have some staffing updates and a couple of conversations around our priorities and objectives that were officially adopted by the JPA and the new process that is going to be approaching as a result of that. We're already at our quarterly performance trends, as well as a few benefits Cal updates and releasing policy updates, transition updates from our M&E and infrastructure vendors. Our customer engagement team is going to be providing an update on the ICT effort that's underway, as well as the learning exchanges. We have a very quick procurement update, and then we'll have a reminder around the CalSOS conference before we get some updates from our state partners.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to item number 4, the approval of our last meeting, which was 2 months ago. Is there any questions or comments, or do we have a motion?
I'll submit a motion to approve.
We have a motion in the room, and I think there was something online. Is that correct? Did somebody motion online?
This is Sandra. I second to approve.
Thank you.
All right, Eduardo,
I approve.
Rachel,
I approve.
Celia,
I approve.
Chris. Jaime, Jermaine, sorry,
I
sorry,
approve.
sorry, Jermaine, I owe you a coffee.
Okay.
Sorry.
Approve.
Irene,
I approve.
Sean,
Approve?
all right. Oh, and Catherine,
Yes, we approve.
all right, thank you, Catherine.
I am kind of
Very sleepy
yeah. It's been coffee's still full, so I also apologize. I'll get it together. I promise. Is there any public comment on the minutes? Seeing none and hearing none, we'll go ahead and move on to item number 5, and I'll promise to get it together.
All right, this is a very quick update. As we've been sharing the last couple months, Lynn Bridwell, who has been our Benefits Cal director, is retiring effective tomorrow. And we have made a selection on Fred Gaines, who will be taking over as the new Benefits Cal director. So we're excited about this transition, looking forward to what Fred is going to be doing in the Benefits Cal space and continuing to improve our self-service access, which based on the public comments is a very high priority for our advocates and our public. So congratulations, Fred.
Thank you. Thank you. Lynn, you will truly be missed, and sir, welcome to the role. As you've heard, Benefits Cal is one of It's one of our most important tools that we have out there in the county, and we look forward to working with you and your team for enhancements and how we can better serve the community. So welcome, and you will be missed, Lynn. Any comment of the PSC?
Well, I'm gonna miss Lynn. I've been here for many, many, many years, and she's been here and steadfast and loyal and smart and really helped move these systems far, and appreciated all the work that you've done. So I will miss you. And when people say Lynn, at least I
Now
won't-
we'll
I won't
know,
have to
yeah.
worry about it.
And that's what I'm looking forward to on Monday.
Thank you.
Any other comment of the PSC? Any comment of the public? Seeing none and hearing none, thank you. To the next item.
Yeah, so we're gonna tag team a little bit around this this update, Albert and I. So as I shared in March now, the JPA did officially vote on and approve the objectives that are shown here. What this is going to do is provide our strategic themes for CalSAWS as we move forward and improving access and serving our counties and our customers. These objectives are, there's a lot of overlap with what we need to do on the self-service lines. And so I'm just gonna walk through them really quickly. Objective number 1 is enhancing self-service access. So this is about increasing adoption, benefits Cal and all the ancillary systems as well. Objective 2 on streamlining administrative processes. So this is really there to help support the county workers, the eligibility workers, minimizing, streamlining those repetitive tasks and, using whatever automation tools we have to improve that experience and take off some of that work so that they can focus on some of the more critical work and supporting their clients. Objective 3 is on enhancing user experience and support. That's on both sides of the house when it relates to the eligibility workers, the case workers, but also the public and improving that experience, providing more contextual support, guides, reminders and things of that nature, just to eliminate errors and reduce confusion. And then objective 4 is I call it the miscellaneous drawer of everything else that we need to accomplish around reporting, analytics, and client communications. We really need greater flexibility. We need improved insights so that we can respond accordingly to this, ever evolving, landscape. And so those are the 4 objectives that the JPA agreed upon. As I've shared in prior meetings, the intent is now for those to be those strategic themes that drive the priorities, and going forward, those priorities are going to be brought forward to the PSC to make decisions and help prioritize, the ask and the needs of the county. In advance of the next slide. So this is a bit of an eye chart here, but really just talking about why the CER is evolving to this business case request. We really want to focus on providing a more collective response and support to the counties, looking at where we can provide the most impact and business value for the counties is really critical. And it also will help us create some operational efficiencies because we have quite the backlog of things we need to work through, but there's themes in that backlog. There's common ask. And so we need to look at these a little bit more holistically, a little bit more strategically versus more tactical approach. The other thing that we need to make sure of is that we're balancing the request, right? We don't have an infinite amount of resources and time as much as we would love to do all things. And so we need to make sure we're being really thoughtful and intentional about where we spend our time and our resources. And so, just the high level of this is, right now, counties are providing requests. They're used to, because of the prior systems, requests went straight to the system, so it went from county straight to the system. The change now is it goes from county to region to our governing board and then the project we'll take that and work on those things. And so I think there's one more slide, and then I, let Albert chime in. So one of the things that we really want to focus on is the county needs really need to be communicated from a business perspective. So we want to focus on business value versus the what needs to be done. This bill needs to change. This thing needs to change, but why? And so that's really important for us. We want to focus on advancing objectives, again, being more strategic now in this post-migration phase that we're in. We want the counties to have more robust discussions among themselves, and really, it's really not the project's role to determine what's important to the counties. The counties have to make those determinations, and so we trust the counties to have those conversations and make sure that we have some cross-regional themes that are brought forward. So that, again, focus being on business impact. And then again, highest value, work being done first. So with that, I don't know, Albert, if you have anything else to add to this evolution.
Yes, thank you, Julia. I know that I personally, within my region, which is Region 5, I've been very vocal to the fact that, even though we became one a few years back, our missions were very different depending on what region, which county you were in. The Big Bang counties, I'm sorry, you all went all together at once, and then the Cowlin counties, it was a transition. So we have not been in the same place. While some of us were trying to cross the finish line, some of you were adapting to the new system. Well, now a year later, after the last region has come into the fold, and now we're all truly in one system, I think that is very important for us to level set and have a structure. And just like you and many other counties, throughout these last couple of months, I've heard the rumblings and maybe not the clarity. And so I picked up the phone and I called Julia and I said, I just need to understand. And when she explained to me that the program pieces, no change, they have their own path, they're going to continue, the committees are going to discuss those changes working with the state partners, and they have their own separate path. And that we're just talking about like the nice to haves or the things that the counties want. One example might be like the return mail project. And what made it very clear for me in our discussion was just what she voiced right now, that the current process at the moment is county directed the project, hoping that it gets prioritized in a release. And now that we should be working as a regions, the only change at the lowest, breaking it down at the lowest denominator is now county, have a conversation with your region to see if any region wants to add something, delete something, talk about possible impacts, talk about how this may or may not work for them, how this does or does not work for the other, and maybe just have a dialogue of, I will support this because we see the benefit, or hear me out because this could create some issues for me at my personal county, and just have that conversation. So that is my understanding. I know that we're still building the details of the changes and we're still going through that process. But again, Julia, I just want to confirm that my understanding is that at the current process, it's county direct to project, hoping that it gets in, or if you have a director like mine, he'll pick up the phone and just move it to the top of the line. Versus now, the changes truly county to the region to have a conversation to see what could be added or deleted, have a dialogue before it moves on to here and then be prioritized. And again, that's my clarity that I have, and I think that I'm very supportive of that. I think at this moment, because I think that all regions, we just need to have that structure so that we understand how we're going to do our business together, understanding that some of us might win one time and some of us might lose sometimes, but it's okay. It's being able to just go there and have a conversation and just put your needs or your concerns at the table. And again, if that is the intent, I personally, as San Diego County, I'm very supportive of the intent, because I think we need that structure. So that is my my feedback, my understanding. I'm going to open it up to the PSC members to see if they have any questions or comments.
Albert, I do support what you're saying. I think it's really good. I think it's a hard transition, I think, for us, and I think, changing our processes and, just coming around to that new way of thinking is taking a little bit of time. But I do agree with you that, I think people think everyone thinks it's everything, policy, all the changes, but it's just really a small portion of it, and kind of need to get through what is it that we have out there and, kind of whittle it down to really what's important and what needs to go forward. So, but it's a process, right? And we got to all come along at the same time. We're all here for the one thing, and that's to improve the system.
Sandra?
Hi, I'm in agreement with Albert as well. I do think, just keeping the process very transparent and looking at how things are moving forward is going to be key. So I'm really hopeful and supportive of this process if it helps us work through some of that backlog and try to get things more accomplished. And hopefully it all gears around these priorities, because I think these are all beneficial to our teams and our customers.
Thank you. So I just wanted to thank you, Albert, for that, because it does help a little bit with the confidence, because much like you stated, and I think others would say, when I first heard about the process, especially through my team, it did make me a little nervous. And I know through our great regional managers, we kind of heard the feedback from the rest of the region, and again, same concerns. But listening, and then had the opportunity to meet with Nicole last week to really she helped walk me through this and separate out the policy versus the needs and everything. I think that, again, a little more relaxed, understanding it's still kind of in the process of being built. And so, looking forward to the concept of the process, and we know there's going to be probably, ups and downs with it, but, understood exactly what the intent is, I think is good. And we will definitely be here to support and appreciate the support with it. So thank you.
I think there was Sean.
Yes, hi, Sean Emil, Region 6. I have two things I want to kind of put out there. I think because there's a lot of uncertainty or unknowns, and even for some people might be the smaller details, there's still some hesitation as to exactly what is the change and how it's going to be happening. And I know we're still fleshing this out. So I think part of this is also how we're presenting this information, because I know even at JPA, our directors had still a lot of questions. So I think once we get more fleshed out and it's more clear exactly what the change is, we know what the goal is, right? But what the change is and how that affects, we might get a bit more buy-in on this process. And I think the other thing is, we've talked about helping with the backlog. I would like us to also consider, what are the types of metrics we're going to be looking at? What are we going to measure from the existing system or process, should I say, compared to the new process? And are we actually improving it? Are we getting through more processes, more changes than we had in the previous system? Are we getting through? Are we creating more of a backlog or not? I think we have to be also looking at how we're measuring so that we can be continuously improving this new process to make sure that we are not just creating more of a backlog or creating lesser work for the contractor where it's not necessarily fiscally responsible, considering we're paying a lot more money for this. So just kind of two things I want us to make sure we consider continuously talking about metrics and how we're presenting this, because I do feel that there's still a lot of people with a lot of uncertainty, but I think it's because of the unknowns.
Can I, if I can, Sean, the last comment you made about less work for the what do you mean about the less work for the contractor?
Well, if like I said, there's I know I've had some discussions with others in saying, if we are trying to prioritize a lesser amount of change requests, then the volume that we're saying, we're trying to kind of streamline it, we're trying to kind of be more focused. Are we creating more of a volume, and are we is basically what we're putting into the system at the same speed that we have in our current system? So if in this new process, for example, we were able to make 6 changes, but in our previous process, we were able to do 12, then there's a lot less of a workload. for how it's being built into the system. So I think we have to kind of start thinking about what are we measuring?
Right, that's fair. Just to clarify, this doesn't reduce work at all. We still have the same amount of work. There's still the same amount of hours that are put in. This doesn't change any of that. It's just making sure those hours are spent on the things that bring the most business value and the most impact for the counties. So I wanted to clarify that before we moved on, that this doesn't reduce the work at all. It's just bundling it and making sure the work is focused on the most impactful.
And tracking that would show that, right? So
Yeah,
that's why I'm mentioning, like, if we track it, then we're gonna say there isn't, right?
Yes,
But we
absolutely.
really don't know unless we track that.
Okay.
Thank you. I think Rachel?
I just wanted to say from Region 3, and we did initially have some concerns when the new process was presented, because for us, it sounded like that anything that was related to potentially policy or regulation that had been missed in updates was going to have to go through this. So I really do appreciate the clarification that that's not the case. And I actually am looking forward to the collaborative process, so that we can kind of work together, not just within our regions, but not just within our specific region, but with all the regions, to really raise the most critical needs. And in the end, for all of us, I think, with the end goal of being able to better serve our communities and our customers. So thank you.
Any other comment of the PSC? So before I move on to public comment, I just want to share, San Diego, myself, we were hearing the same things, and that's what prompted me to pick up the phone, because I was like, there's a big disconnect, And when I got the clarity, and in my conversation with Julia, that's why we're putting that today, that is the understanding. We want to just put the discussion at the region level first, so that the regions can discuss what benefits, what needs to be added, what needs to be amended on these changes before they make it over. So to the point that was being said, so that the change could have the greater impact for that region or for the state, or however we see it, before it goes on to the project level. And again, that was in the conversation, I stopped Julia and I said, what you just said right there is what we're missing. We're thinking that we are rebuilding everything when you're not changing, and we agree to disagree, but we went ahead and this is the piece that just needed that clarity. And that's why I told Julia, I'm willing to help you and the team to have these conversations and to kind of help with the interpretation, for lack of better words, because again, once she broke it out in those 3 flow boxes, I was like, I got it, I'm on board. So, and I'm committed to this on board, to this team, to the project team, to in any way that I can assist, to support, and again, but my understanding is just that I am supportive of the model that because I also told her, if I disagree, I will also say it here. So PSC members, without breaking any Brown Act rules or anything like that, we can bring this up. But I also encourage you to pick up the phone and make those calls, so you can get some of that more needed clarity when things don't quite sound right. So having said that, are there any comments of the public? Seeing none and hearing none, next item, please.
Yep, so we're gonna go a level deeper into this, and so Peggy's gonna provide some updates on this CER to business case request process.
Good morning, everyone. I am happy to be here providing this update to you. So what we've done and this is the work that we're doing, moving from CER to BCR. So since our last meeting, we held our session with the PPOCs and stepped through the process, the with them, and they were able to ask questions. We got over 100 questions. And I'm happy to say that we have gone through all of those questions, and we had last Friday, the spreadsheet with all the questions went back out to the county, so they have that in hand as a reference for them. We're also working on the updates for the handbook in relation to the new CER to BCR changes. That's being worked on as well. Moving forward, we've identified our customer engagement team leads that will continue to shepherd this process. So Henry Archangel, one of our customer engagement managers, along with Yolanda Banuelos, one of our Region 5 RMs, will be taking the lead in continuing to move forward with the counties on this whole evolution process. So next month, so I'm doing I wanted to do the update today to kind of introduce that they will be moving this forward, but in future meetings, they will be responsible for providing the updates on, the work that has been done. So the next thing that is being done is we're doing a BCR overview. That's our next PPOC session to step through the actual BCR form and put together a sample one, real life, so that they can, get their feet kind of underneath them on the process. So that's happening. We've scheduled that for May 29th. The invite has already gone out for that. It went to the PPOCs with the caveat that counties have the flexibility to include whoever they think is should be hearing the information, or who will be helping in create business cases and completing the form. So you're free to invite whoever you need to for that. We're also working on a CIT that will, once it's finalized, it'll go out to the counties with the BCR form and the instructions. Also working on a timeline that we hope to be communicating, as well as identifying all the different communications that need to occur and who we need to communicate with. So all of that is in flux. I'm really excited to have my customer engagement team taking the lead for this effort, because this is the front end effort, and the RMs are front and center with the counties. So it makes sense that customer engagement is shepherding this. And I have every confidence in Yolanda and Henry to continue the good work that we're doing and move this forward. So I'll turn it back to you, Albert, for questions.
Any questions of the PSC? Any questions of the public? Seeing none and hearing none, thank you.
All right. Hello, everyone. Lisa Solis here. So we have our quarterly metrics that we'll go through today. And I'm going to kick it off with our M&E work. And so there's a couple of things that we cover for M&E. One, we focus on looking at our code quality, and we do that from two aspects. So the first one being a cost of rework, so the amount of hours we spend fixing items that have been delivered to the system. The colored chart there, you'll see that we continue to trend very low in the green range. So that's good news. We provide the last year's worth of data. As we look forward to this weekend, actually, we'll be deploying 2505. So once that's in production, we will assess how 2503 quality was, and that will be added to the next quarterly metrics. But the headline here is it continues to be very positive and stable from a quality perspective, and both our onshore and offshore development teams are in line with their delivery there. This, just by way of background for everyone, the reason this chart even came about is originally all development work was done onshore here, and as that work was transitioned to some of our offshore locations, it was very important to our board that we continue to track and see the same quality delivery both on and offshore. Let's go to the next slide. This one is our production defects for our CalSource system. Again, tends to be very stable over the last few releases. We do track this weekly, both from what's the outstanding backlog as well as the incoming and the closure rates. The good news here is none of the open items are critical or high. If and when we have those get resolved extremely quickly because it does have a material impact on county workers. But at this time, there are no critical and highs open. Next slide, I'll talk about the M&E service level agreements. As it relates to the last quarter, we are green on our service level agreements. April is still being finalized, but at this point, green. And we just, again, since we have the history, we show you the history for the approximately past 12 months here on our service level agreements. Noting that prior to February, this was actually both M&E and infra SLAs. And as we moved forward into February, it's just M&E. And I'm going to hand this over to Dawn because she's going to cover the infrastructure SLAs for the past quarter. Dawn?
Thank you, Lisa. So from infrastructure, as Lisa just indicated, there is only a quarter. So that's what you're seeing here. I did want to note that you obviously did have an incident in March, which impacted your services. That is related to a telecommunications issue, and we are continuing to work with our telecommunications provider on the current solution and evaluating that solution. On the next slide, before I turn this over to Sarah for Highland, I did want to note that you'll see a couple of additional line items here from Highland. This is related to the transition of imaging that we'll be talking about in an upcoming part of the meeting. But in doing that, we do have a new agreement with Highland, which incorporates a couple more SLAs. So you will hear Sarah talking about these additional SLAs. And I will also note, as she talks about the brainware processing, that is a background process that runs. So while the processing time that this is running is based on what we would anticipate the OCR process to take, the image is in fact available for viewing during that background processing. But with that, Sarah, if you want to cover the quarterly metrics for Highland.
Absolutely, thank you. So the first three that you're looking at, you're probably all very used to. So for monthly uptime, the target is 99.90%, and we had 100% uptime for the last 3 months. The page views and database transactions each have a monthly target of 90%, and those are averaging over 99% over the last 3 months. And the last two are newer, as Dawn mentioned. So the Brainware SLA is to process 97% of documents that are 10 megabytes or smaller in 10 minutes or less. And as Dawn said, processing really means that the Brainware product is working behind the scenes on the document using OCR, which is optical character recognition, to classify what type of document it is. So it's really kind of looking to see, is this a social security card or a driver's license, identifying what that document is, and then routing it through workflow for exceptions and task generation, all while the document is still available for end users to access, which is really that page view SLA, is how quick is that page coming up for end users. So for the stats for Brainware, over the last 3 months, we've been averaging over 99% of those documents processing, and the average time is under 3 minutes. The final SLA there for technical resource response time is brand new, and we are tracking this to ensure that a Highland technical resource capable of resolving the issue is engaged in critical incidents and system outages. So this SLA went into effect on April 1st, and that's why you see not applicable for February and March, but there were not any critical incidents or system outages in the month of April, so we've got 100% for that. And that's the update for Highland. Back to you, Dawn.
Thank you, Sarah. And I will actually be turning this over to Deloitte to go with the benefits cal metrics.
All right, so for benefits cal metrics, there are actually 3. And the boring but very important spoiler alert is they are all well above target and have been basically for the entire time as charted there, which is a couple of years. The first one is our online transaction response. And there's two varieties of it. The first one is bounded, which means when we know exactly how many records are coming back, for example, something like a login. And as you can see there above the target, close to 100% actually. You go to the next slide, same thing, but this is the unbounded, meaning we don't know how many records are coming back, something like a transaction list, for example. And again, we are well above the target, a little under 99%, but above our target. And then finally, the last item is our API transactions. So these are transactions going from Benefits Cal to another related system like CalSAWS. And once again, you can see we're very close to 100%, have been since January of 23.
Thank you. Any questions of the PSC?
Hi, quick question. This is Sandra from Riverside. For the new metrics being put in place, are we also seeing a higher outcomes and more documents going through OCR successfully?
I would say it's been pretty steady over the last several months. We added the Benefits Cal documents into imaging last June, so almost a year ago. And at that time, volume doubled going through imaging. But ever since then, it's been pretty steady. I think we're averaging almost 4 million documents, which can be multiple page documents per month.
Thank you.
Any other comments of the PSC? Are there any comments of the public? Seeing none and hearing none. Next item, please.
ROI work group. She's already checked out
She's
on
like,
it.
"Oh, that's what you probably
I
do.
know,
That's what you
It's just
probably
like, I am done, I don't know. What a way to leave, right? So of course, it continues on there. We have not scheduled the next session yet. What will be occurring into the future in this piece, Fred will be taking over on that for facilitation of the work group moving forward on that. And we know that some of the things that are coming up around with the work group itself is finishing up. There's a particular policy question that's been floating through our work group in email exchanges, so it's liable to be a topic of discussion there. Finishing up the ABC, the M229 form, getting that finalized. Our team has gone through and done some gap analysis, so they will be starting to share a lot of that information through the work group. They started a little bit of messaging the last one, but now it will be a little more comprehensive. And at that point, I have mentioned before that within a short period of time, that work group as it stands now will evolve into something else in order for it to become a design type of thing. So then there's liable to be a change in folks and that, because the focus will be different and the engagement, and then it can start building its, and working towards the UCD process and that piece. So that's what Fred gets to inherit. But it's a good turning point for lots of reasons. So I think we're making progress. And with that, the next slide, I will turn it over to Chloe.
Thank you, Lynn. Hello, everyone. So I want to share some recent updates from the user-centered design standpoint. And I wanted to just kind of inform everybody that we are actively working to actually engage more customers in our research, which we are really, really excited about. So before I jump into the content on this slide, I just wanted to provide a quick review on why customer engagement is so important to us at Benefits Cal. Primarily, it allows for continuous improvement in our platform. So when we talk with customers, we are really able to reflect their voices and their needs and their preferences in the enhancements that we design and implement. And this also helps us to prioritize our pipeline of work based on what truly matters to the customer. What do they need? What do they want? So, as I said, we have been expanding our customer reach. I'm going to talk about two recent initiatives that we are doing this through. So, the first one you can see on the left is adoption research. Last month, our team spoke with 30 individuals from the general public in hour-long one-on-one ethnographic interview sessions. In these ethnographic interviews, our team sought to understand these customers' attitudes and needs and barriers in applying for as well as managing their benefits. Really specifically, we were looking at those customers who use Benefits Cal versus those who do not, who manage their benefits either in person or via postal mail or over the phone. So we recruited customers from across the state in both of these groups, Benefits Cal users and non-Benefits Cal users. And what we learned is that no matter the customer's tech fluency, even those who are very tech literate, there's a preference for simple web design with minimal choices. We also learned that Benefits Cal is most liked for its convenience, which we expected, but that sometimes this convenience is actually outweighed by other factors, like a desire for human connection, also a desire for real-time answers, and a desire for personalized answers to case-specific questions. We also learned that customers have an unmet desire for more proactive notifications and deadline management support, especially when it comes to managing their benefits. We know there are a lot of deadlines and to-do items that they currently are managing on their own. And lastly, we learned that customers do not always know the difference between Benefits Cal and the benefits programs themselves, which can sometimes lead to some confusion. So our next steps here are that our team will continue to take these findings, further synthesize them, and share out in the UCD meetings as we normally do. And then we will use these findings to actually inform upcoming enhancements. So that is the adoption research piece. And then I also want to take you through this new methodology that we are really, really excited for, unmoderated user testing. So we are excited because this methodology will allow us to really efficiently gather high volume data on customers' experiences with some of our recent document upload list of options designs. This rapid feedback will also allow us to really pivot any designs almost in real time if that's needed based on that feedback that we are getting from these user sessions. This allows us to tailor our design specifically to customers' behaviors and their preferences, ultimately serving our goal in creating a customer-centric platform. So we will be kicking off these 150 sessions this month, and we are excited to report out on those findings at a later date. And I will now hand it over to Owner, who will be talking through some enhancements.
Thank you. Thank you, Chloe. If you can move on to the next slide. So good morning, everyone. Following the customer engagement updates just Chloe shared, next I want to briefly talk about some system improvements, the key ones that we recently delivered and coming up in the near future. Since we met last time in the month of April, we deployed the release 2504, which is the April release. And as part of this release, we added a new feature for the document upload for that we were hearing frequently from the customers. Historically, you may recall, customers had the ability to upload multiple documents for the same type, but they could not select different document types in one setting, in one session. So with the change we deployed in April, they will be able to select different document types when they want to upload documents. So it will make it faster and easier for them, which is a frequently used functionality in the portal itself. Moving on to May, this month, we do have again series of improvements, and one thing that I would like to highlight here is about the two-way messaging functionality, which is an existing feature in the dashboard. With this new change, customers will be able to see a new statuses when a county worker prefers to send a message to the customer with a specific action needed and with a due date. They will have a color-coded indications on their dashboard in the two-way messaging, as well as whether it's the status is action is overdue or action is expired. That information will be retrieved from the CalSOS portal, and the dashboard will reflect that, so customer will have visibility what is going on in their messaging center. So that is coming up this month. And next month, as part of the June release 2506, again, we have series of items coming up, including dark upload, but I would like to highlight something about the case medical accelerated enrollment status. For a customer, if a customer is approved for accelerated enrollment for medical, you will retrieve that information and reflect that information on the customer's dashboard. They will be notified so they can start using their benefits immediately. So that transparency will be important for customers who need urgent benefits. And that indicator will be available in multiple places on their dashboard, and that is intended, that feature is intended next month, targeted right now, next month as part of the June release. Albert, I will hand it over to you for any questions.
Thank you. And we see one from PSC member, Sean?
Yes, hi. My question was for Chloe regarding the research that we were doing and the user testing. I know that we're focusing on Medi-Cal, CalFresh, and CalWorks. I wondered if there was some kind of focus, or if it was brought up, the fact that I know in LA County we see a lot of our Benefits Cal users leverage Benefits Cal for, let's say, one program, but it's actually intended for another. And I was wondering if we're looking at how kind of how we need to start looking at enhancing the platform to meet a need that has not been identified. So for example, they might be uploading CalWorks and selecting that, but it's actually for gain. Or they might be uploading something for CalFresh because that's the only thing available to them, but it's actually meant for their general assistance, general relief. Things to that matter, because I think on the eligibility worker side, we're getting a lot of comments on they're stating something was uploaded, but it was under another program. I mean, have we kind of thought about later on kind of digging into that?
Yeah, thank you for that question. I will say that to that last bullet point, you can see that there is sometimes confusion around different benefits programs. It's sort of like a mental lack of distinction between Benefits Cal and the benefits programs themselves. And then sometimes between the programs, people don't always necessarily know which ones they are or are not eligible for. Often we see people who may be eligible for multiple programs, and they're just not really aware of these multiple programs. I can't speak to that specific issue. I'm happy to keep an eye out for it in our synthesis and in future research that we do. But I can say generally, there is this kind of like confusion around understanding. Some people even tell us like they're on one program and we actually know that they're not, or we know that they're on a different one, and there is sometimes like a bit of confusion around understanding what the different programs are, what they can apply for, and what they have applied for.
Yeah, Sean, we'll look into that. I think we do have some data on where people are coming in because of there not being enough information on certain programs on Benefits Cal, but I think we'd have to dig into if there's where confusion is lying, and we can get back to you on that.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Any other questions of the PSC? Any questions of the public?
This is Jen from the Advocates Group. I just want to acknowledge the importance of having this kind of research directly with customers to make sure that we're understanding what they need and centering their needs in the decisions that are made for the designs. So thank you.
Thank you, Jen. Any other questions of the public? Seeing none and hearing none, next item, please.
Good morning, everyone. Karen Rapinati. Talking through a couple of changes that we have coming up. As counties have been very involved with, we have our SCADL implementation coming up. And just want to say thank you to the counties for all the assistance with the county validation, with participating in the work group, and all of that has helped us get to where we are today. And we're ready to go live with SCADL. So there's dates are there and information about it. I won't drain the slide for you. And then on slide number 2, to assist with the SCADL implementation, there are a number of different resources that have been provided and training materials that have been provided. And then additionally, one of the things that isn't on here is that we will have a help desk focus for SCADL. We're assigning some specific folks to be able to help for any questions that come in so we can tackle those quickly and resolve any items that happen with SCADL right after implementation. So putting some extra effort in that area since it's such a change to move over to SCADL. And then on slide number 3, other items that we have coming up are the DHCS alternate format is ready to go, and it's coming in our May release as well. And then we have several placeholders for budgetary items, different ACLs that are coming down the pipe. And we are currently also working through the governor's budget items, which is why I'm not in the room and have working in my office on some other things to make sure that we are able to respond to potential changes that are coming from budgetary items. So more to come on that area. And then finally, on the last slide, it just gives an overview of what's taking place for 2505, and we are ready for deployment. As Lisa mentioned earlier, it is happening this weekend, and we are ready to go. So I'll turn it back to you. I think it's Albert.
Thank you. Any questions of the PSC? Are there any questions of the public? Hearing none, seeing none, thank you so much. Next item.
On the transition update, we are transitioning from the infrastructure perspective on 3 items still. And as I mentioned, imaging earlier, as Highland was giving their update, as a part of the transition, we did transition the Highland contract, added those couple of new SLAs as you heard discussed earlier. We are going to be completing the transition of the imaging on June 1st. So from the infrastructure perspective, while we are infrastructure, this does actually include the interfacing with Highland and making sure that the application components of this particular solution work as well. And again, that's for June 1st. We are also working through the contact center migration. This one, as you can see, for the majority of the contact center services is planned for July 11th. However, we do have call summarization, which is being transitioned, and that's currently Fresno. You've heard it as Fresno's AI, most likely. It is the call summarization within the contact center, and that'll be transitioning on July 31st. And then lastly, under access management, Ping Identity, which was formerly known as ForgeRock, which is probably how you think of it. We did transition all the infrastructure for that, as well as contact center on February 1st. But these are the custom components related to that particular solution, and those are planned to be transitioned on June 2nd. So that's the current status of infrastructure. We are approaching the end of the infrastructure related transition. And with that, I will turn it over to Deloitte to talk about the M&E transition.
Thank you, Don. This is Rajesh Dahliani. I'll provide the transition update. Overall, the transition activities are proceeding per plan, even slightly ahead. I wanted to kind of highlight the major accomplishments from the last 3 months. We are now into month 4 of transition activities. To start with, we did establish a transition dashboard, which kind of provides full transparency into the task and activities completed on a daily, weekly basis. Right from get-go, our thought process was, let's establish a sandbox where the team can play around with the code, modify the code, and those activities are in full swing. We in fact are looking at defects from 25.07 and modifying the code and testing those defects. OCAT, we successfully completed the cutover, and now we are truly in M&E transition mode. The Surfra, Scurfra activities we took over early March, and those activities are proceeding per plan. And our focus, in addition to transition, is now shifted to CalSOS releases, and I'll talk about that on the subsequent slides. And lastly, we are starting to do the initial work on system security plan. On to the next slide, please. Yeah, so in addition to the transition activities, we are continuing to do detailed planning on 25.11. In fact, we did get a jump start on the 25.11 design activities. In parallel, we are doing the CalHere's, JAT sessions, pre-designed work, and continue to work with consortium on some early, strategy thought process on the analytics platform. Moving on to the next slide, please. So let's step through from top. The 25.09, which is the Accenture last release in production, we are now in the job shadow for the design phase, and pretty soon we'll start the reverse job shadow on that front. In parallel, trying to get ahead on the 25.11 release, and right now we are in the design. In fact, we did complete the draft design for a set of SCRs there, and starting to plan at a high level planning on 26.01, which will be a few months later. And then the CalHere's design continues. And as I mentioned, OCAT transition is over, and now we are in M&E operations. And now the focus is shifting to the other cutovers like production operations. So detailed planning is underway, SCRs, and then the ARC and innovation. We continue to look for AI assist tools like Amazon Q and see how it can assist us in the delivery of the SCRs. Go to the next slide, please. So this kind of gives you an at a glance, transition update, and this is from the dashboard. And as I mentioned, we are slightly ahead. You can see from the burn down charts on the KT, we are 73%. On job shadow, it's 43%, and then reverse job shadow 22%. And this is per plan, and activities, are proceeding, and so far, no major concerns on this front. To the next slide, please. Okay. I won't go into the details of risk. These risks were logged early on, and we continue to work with Gainwell and Accenture. And honestly, these risks are trending from medium to low. Questions? Thank you.
Any questions for PSC?
Question in the chat. Sean O'Neill, Region 6 says the Gen AI call summary, will that only be for English speaking calls?
So that is currently English and Spanish, and we are continuing to look at the roadmap for that particular item for future enhancements.
Are there any other questions of the PSC? Any questions of the public? Hearing none and seeing none. Next item, thank you.
Good morning again, everyone. I am going to be providing an update on 2 initiatives that we've been working on. So the first one is our ICT, and I'm happy to report that we have completed all of our tasks. This slide demonstrates that we've checked all the boxes for all the different activities that we had planned for the ICT effort. Next slide, please. We worked with our work group and our state partners in updating the ICT protocol document. It's been completed, reviewed, and submitted to the counties via an ICT that went out on May 1st. So that is with the counties now, so that they can use that to train staff and hopefully see improvements in the overall communication with ICTs. And we provided the link to where the document is so that folks can have access to it. And the effort going forward will be to maintain that document. Next slide, please. Here's some quotes that we received from various members of the work group, indicating that, you know, participating in the work group was awesome. We covered a lot of pain points and got to a good place. Our state partners also commented. CalSAWS and the counties did an excellent job in engaging stakeholders, facilitating and providing knowledge and expertise by streamlining the ICT protocol documents. So those were a couple of the feedback points that we got, as well as, you know, giving kudos to Daisy and Bobby for really their leadership in keeping the group moving forward and on task. You know, I'll have to say one more time that I think this really was a model for how we can effectively work together with the counties and the state in accomplishing, you know, something that's important. Next slide, please. So for the next steps, again, as I mentioned, we've handed off the ICT document to the counties, protocol documents, so they have that with them. Moving forward, the current ICT committee will take ownership of the maintenance of the ICT protocol document. And if there's any changes, which we don't anticipate there to be many, but if there are, that's where that discussion will happen. They'll also use that forum to check in and see how it's going. So counties will have an opportunity to discuss what's working and what's not. And then in 6 months, we will take a pulse on how it has been working, and if there's any updates that need to be done, then it will happen with that group. Is that my last slide can you go back one slide? Okay, so again, we just want to say thank you to everyone that participated. I was very pleased to see how well everyone worked together in agreeing to agree or agreeing to disagree on the changes that were made. Okay, the next slide is where we begin talking about our CalSAWS Learning Exchange. So just as a reminder, our CalSAWS Learning Exchange, CLE, are the things that have been identified by the RMs and the counties on areas where more information is needed or a refresher training is needed. And so we use that CLE session to put together a training for the counties. And so we've, whenever possible, we partner with counties that may be doing something really well to help give a county perspective on different areas. So continue to plan for our CLE sessions. Next slide, please. So in April, we did our CLE session on task management. We held it on 2 days, the 22nd and 23rd of April. We had 567 participants that attended, which represented 50 counties. Next slide. So here are some comments that we received. on the folks that participated. Information that was discussed along with, I can see visuals, made it easy to understand. Overall, the feedback we received was very positive. So we know that these CLE sessions really are achieving what we wanted them to achieve. Next slide, please. Here is a timeline of what we've done so far. So since we started doing these back in summer last year, we've completed many CLE sessions. Again, in April, we did our task management session. Our upcoming June session is on imaging. The invites have already been sent out, and that will be held on the June 3rd and 5th. So those are coming up. In August, we are targeting to do a session on Benefits Cal. We're still in the works on that. And then beyond that, we are working on our calendar. So if your counties have identified an area where you think staff can use some additional support in, please reach out to your RMs and we will get those worked into our calendar. Next slide, is that the last slide? Okay, so again, just what I said, it's we use these sessions to benefit the counties, and if you have a request that you would like to put forward, please reach out to your RM. Turn it back to Albert for questions.
I did want to, just to tie this back, the imaging learning exchanges are related to some of the comments that have been coming from the public. So hopefully, that'll help resolve some of those issues and help support the eligibility work on finding those documents. So, yeah.
Any questions of the PSC? Are there any questions of the public?
Question in the chat, I answered it.
All right, seeing none, hearing none. Good, thank you so much. Next item.
Procurement, the most exciting one.
Because it's quick.
We're in the middle of the QA procurement, developing that. It'll be out on the street August 11th. Everything's on schedule for a contract start date of December 1st of 2026. We also have an active appeal for the benefits cal procurement and working on the beginnings of the legal procurement consortium council. Thank you, Albert.
That was quick.
That was actually the longest one.
That's a long side.
All right. Any questions of the PSC? Any questions of the public? Seeing none, hearing none. Next item.
This is our state partner. No? Oh, council, that's me, sorry, okay. The CalSouth conference, so we are at 276 conference registrations. We cap out at 300, so again, just encouraging your folks, if they are planning to attend. We have a very, very, very exciting conference planned, and so make sure they do that. However, the hotel, the block is already at capacity, so we don't have any more of the block, but you can still stay at the hotel. It would just need to be at the normal rate, or you can find one on the beach, beautiful sunset views, if you so please. I did want to remind the PSC, because that will be our next meeting, that we have the PSC meeting on Friday morning of the conference, so make sure that you are in attendance, because we do still need to have quorum at that one, and that one is the one where we are making selections.
Yeah, there'll just be one item to elect the co-leads.
Yes. Okay. That's it. We're to see you all next month.
Any questions or comments of the PSC? Any questions or comments of the public? Forward to seeing you all in San Diego. Next item, please.
You have a very short commute to this. All right.
I think OTSI.
Good morning, this is Patrice Yang from OTSI. I have an update on 2 documents that are currently with our federal partners for review, the January 2025 as needed IAPDU and the CalSAWS Accenture Amendment 33. So we are working with our consortium partners to address any questions and hoping to get approval on those soon. And that is all for my updates. Apologies for annotating your presentation, though. It looks beautiful as is.
Oh, you are the drawer on the.
It was me. I was trying to make a heart. Thank you.
Thank you. CDSS.
Yes, hi, good morning. This is Martha with CDSS, and we do not have any updates today. Thank you.
Thank you. DHCS.
Good morning, everyone. This is Katie Mead from DHCS. One quick reminder, counties do have until June 30th to complete their outstanding, I lost it, outstanding unwinding related renewals. DHCS does continue to provide technical assistance to counties on a weekly basis as needed. So just wanted to remind everyone of that June 30th deadline. That's all I have, Albert. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any comments of the PSC? Have any comments from the public? Okay, hearing none. Next item.
That's where adjourned.
What?
Look at that.
Look at that. I promise you all that I will get it together. So thank you all. If there's nothing further, this meeting is adjourned. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.